radio land and YouTube land and wherever you may be. This is the new Ham Radio Man Oz coming at you. I'm a licensed ham operator in Australia, and I'm going to try and do a channel that hopefully you'll enjoy, full of reviews and all sorts of technical stuff that I can get my hands on, and hopefully something that'll give you a laugh even along the way. This is Ham Radio Man Oz. Please hit the like button if you like this video. Thank you very much. And also don't forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. This is Ham Radio Man Oz, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, and one of the first things I'm going to talk about, a lot of people have asked me about, is because I used to use an interface to auto key my radio for CW and send out digital modes. And the thing that about my radio is that the old one, which has now been updated, but I still have it, is an FT757GX Mark 1. That's the Yaesu FT757GX. Now, anyone who knows about the 757s would know that they had a jack in the back for the AFSK, a basic form of RIDI, but that was basically all it was probably around in those days, or thought that the radio could handle. But through some research in that, I found that the radio can actually handle doing every digital mode possible: slow scan TV, PSK, and JT65 and so on. But all it takes is a simple interface to work. Now, when it comes to interfaces, there's a couple of things you do need that I didn't originally in the beginning have, so I couldn't do all the digital modes at first. But I did do the CW auto keying, and basically the circuit that I got was off the internet, and this is the circuit that we have that I built up, which I'll show you in a moment. So basically you've got a female DB9 connector, and you're running off just 3 pins: ground, data terminal ready, and ready to send, DTR and RTS. You'll require 2 4N25 opto isolator ICs. One is for the PTT and one is for the CW key. Now, if you just want to do CW auto keying, if you don't want anything else, you don't need the PTT section. You can use it if your radio can handle it. Otherwise, you can do the auto key and it will key just fine. And it's a very, very simple circuit to make. So we have a 1K ohm resistor, we have an LED, and of course we have a signal diode, in this case a 914 signal diode, and of course 2 outputs to the key, which is your where your key plugs into your radio. So very, very simple. Again, feel free to draw that, copy it down, anything you'd like. It's a very, very easy circuit to do, and a couple of bucks in parts. I think the most expensive part is the IC, about $3 or $4. Alright, I'll come back in a moment with the example. Okay, so here we have the circuit when it's built. I've just built it on a little bit of Vero board, and you can see the IC and the LED, the resistor, and the signal diode. That's all it is. 4 components: diode, resistor, IC. And I've just done it on a bit of Vero board. I put the IC on a socket, so it makes it easier to remove them, replace them. You don't want the circuit anymore, at least you've got an IC that you can use later on. And I just put a bit of, after I made the connections, just a bit of hot glue to hold it all in place, and the wires and everything, so they wouldn't move. You know, it's very basic, but it works. Now, those connections just basically go out to your PTT key, and 1 wire going to the DB9, bring it back in the camera, DB9 connector. So that one goes to your ground, and that's going to the CW key, that's going to the CW key, and that's basically it. Oh, there is another wire that goes into the DB9. Now, this is the actual circuits that I had built. And you can see what I was trying to do with this was I had the PTT, which was what this one was actually designed for, was the PTT, hence red. And then I had a CW one. The circuits exactly the same circuits in all regard, exactly the same layout, soldering, everything, and of course FSK. So I had one for FSK, one for CW keying, and one for the PTT. And then I had 3 audio jacks drilled into the box so that I could plug in the various plugs. And you'll see the different colour LEDs that I was using. So green for the CW, yellow for the FSK, and of course red for the PTT. Now everything worked nicely except for the FSK. And there was something missing that I didn't understand why it wasn't working. It was plugged in correctly. The volume levels on the computer were extremely low, and that's an important thing. Anytime you plug an audio source into your computer, turn the audio from the computer coming out of those speakers or out of your line output or headphone socket, whatever, right down to 0. Because if you go and transmit audio straight into your radio and your volume levels are way up, you may damage your radio. So very important, make sure all your levels are right down, and then you can adjust them. So your line outs, your microphones, your speakers, everything, just turn it right down, and then you can bring it up slowly. And it's always a good idea to do that, just to protect your radio. But as I say, the CW auto key worked quite nicely. There's my DB9 female connection on the end, and it's just those few pins, and I put a bit of heat shrink across those wires to make sure that everything was held in place. And this unit worked quite nicely. The FSK did not work. It wasn't working, and it wasn't sending out additional signal, and at the time all I wanted to do was send RIDI. So what was missing? It was a 600 ohm transformer. That's what was needed, the 600 ohm line transformers. So I thought, okay, what I'll do is forget that, scrap that. I'll go on eBay, I'll look on eBay at various interfaces that were available. You've got so many professional ones like Signal Link and Rig Runner and that, but there's a lot of cheaper options too. Now there's some really nice circuits out there, and I came across a bloke who was in England, and I settled for his one because it looked to be the best. Now this is the box that I got. Very nice looking box. A bit of blue tack there is just over my call sign. If you're wondering why, well, not every ham radio operator unfortunately is a nice person, so just keep my call sign off this channel. But this is a nice little box. Now this cost me about 85 Australian. It was handmade and shipped out to me. And it was a nice job, and it works extremely well. It'll do not only the RIDI, it'll handle every single digital mode that you can do. Slow scan TV, PSK, JT65, you name it, this will do it. Even through my old FT757 GX. There's a switch there, digital and CW, and some volume level adjusters. Now when I got it, of course, it came with detailed instructions and all the connections already made. So everything was ready to plug into the radio, and he put my radio on the top so I knew that which radio it was for. Everything was there included. So it had the input leads for the audio and output. So mark the red one for your microphone jack, and one for the headphone jack. So mic and headphone. To draw the audio in and out of the computer. And then there was the auto key plug. Now he supplied it with a 3.5 mini jack, and of course my radio was a 6.5, so I had to buy a jack. Well, I actually had one, a little adapter for it, and it worked quite fine. Absolutely worked fine. And then of course 3 RCA connectors, because the 757 uses RCA. and different coloured ones too. A yellow one which was the AFSK, red was the PTT, and the audio from the radio was coming out of the AF out, the audio frequency output of the radio. And as I say, the interface worked quite nicely. It came also fitted with the female DB9 connector. Very nice work indeed. Simple, non-technical, simple work, and full instructions. And the thing is, it did work. What horrified me, well, I won't say horrified, that's a bit harsh. I guess what irritated me was that there's a lot on eBay you'll see that have intricate circuit designs. They have a lot of components, well-made PC board, and it look a lot fancier for the price. Now, as I said, this was 85 Australian dollars. It works, don't get me wrong, it does the job. But when I opened it up to have a look inside at how it was made, is it worth 85 Australian dollars for this? No. Okay, let's have a look inside. I've taken the screws out, so let's have a look. Okay, there we go. So what we have is again some Vero board. We have two transformer, 600 ohm transformers. We have an IC, a capacitor, some trim pots, LED, and a switch. And that is the circuit. Now, as I said, it works. It does what it was designed for, and don't get me wrong, I'm glad that I got it because it proved that my radio can do the job. But 85 Australian dollars for this is a little bit much when you can buy ones that are a lot more professional, have a lot more components, and probably work a little bit better for less than that. So even though this works and the guy did a good job and it's homemade, I would have expected a really nice PCB in there with a lot of components for that sort of money. So that's anyway, just one of the many interfaces available. Like I said, you get what you ask for, and it does do the job. So that's basically this video on little interfaces. There's the circuit again if you wanted to, I'll just zoom out on that. If you want to draw that down. And I'll also be having a review on the SC17 interface from Yaesu, as I have one of those with my 450D, and I'll be doing a review on that very shortly as well. So this is the Ham Radio Man Oz saying, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe, big thumbs up if you like the video, and don't be afraid to ask me any questions. Thanks a lot, 73s. Next time.